There is now a plea deal today in the Maleah Davis case. 2 years ago, Maleah Davis, the little Houston girl, was missing and then found dead along a roadside in Arkansas. It is a story that got international attention. Maleah's stepfather, Darian Vance, will now serve 40 years in prison, but not for murder. Jason.
Well, not according to some folks. Jason, Darian Vance pleaded guilty to two things today: injury to a child and tampering with a corpse.
They had been looking for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and they couldn't get anything out of him.
Easily recalls the confession he got from Darian Vance 2 years ago regarding the disappearance of his 4-year-old stepdaughter, Maleah Davis.
Even the feds couldn't find out where she was, and I was able to meet with him for about 35 minutes, and he told me everything that he did.
Quanell says that includes strangling little Maleah after striking her following an argument with her mother. This surveillance video showed her following Vance into their Southwest Houston apartment the day police believe she died. Quanell says he was fully prepared to testify against Vance before he pleaded guilty today to injury to a child and tampering with a corpse.
I don't believe that 40 years is a justifiable sentence for Mr. Vance based on what he did and what he confessed to me that he did to young Maleah Davis.
In a statement, Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg said, quote, "Children are the most vulnerable members of our community, and young Maleah's death is tragic. We may never have all of the answers in this case, and our thoughts are with the family." Maleah's mother, Brittney Bowens, was never charged in relation to the case. Her grandmother told me today that it's been a long 2 years.
Happy birthday to you.
Since then, friends and family have gathered to celebrate birthdays, and a bridge near where Maleah's body was found in Arkansas was renamed in her honor.
And it's shameful if real justice does not come in her case.
New details now about the death of Maleah Davis. The 4-year-old's disappearance captivated the nation 2 years ago. Her remains were eventually discovered in a trash bag on an Arkansas highway. Now the man arrested in connection to her death has learned his fate. Darian Vance was sentenced to 40 years in prison.
Lauren, a judge sentenced Vance to 40 years for injury to a child and 20 years for tampering with the body of a corpse. That's a total of 60 years, but because those two prison sentences will be served at the same time, he'll only serve 40 years behind bars, time some say isn't long enough. Darian Vance will spend 40 years in prison. Today, the 28-year-old pleaded guilty to tampering with a corpse and injury to a child in relation to the death of 4-year-old Maleah Davis 2 years to the month. Vance was dating Maleah's mother, Brittney Bowen.
What he did to that beautiful angel, young Maleah Davis, 40 years does not equal what she suffered and what she went through.
Quanell X says Vance confessed to him 2 years ago that he hurt Maleah.
He got angry at Brittney, and when the baby kept asking him about Brittney, he struck Maleah in the head. He punched her in the head. When she fell, she began to convulse, I believe having a seizure, and she was bleeding from her ears and bleeding from her nose. And at that point is where he strangled the beautiful young baby. He killed her.
A surveillance photo showed Vance hauling a laundry basket and trash bag near his Southwest Houston apartment. We later learned that was Maleah's body, which was dumped off of an Arkansas road. Vance initially told investigators Maleah was kidnapped by unknown men, but Quanell X got him to reveal the location of Maleah's body.
Because of the decomposition of the body and how long her body had been out in that field and the elements, the medical examiner's office never would have been able to prove with science to a T the actual cause of death.
Quanell X says Maleah's mother knew about prior abuse to Maleah by Vance.
"Did you help cover it up?" And she started crying. And she said, "Yes, he didn't want to go to jail, and I didn't want to see him go to jail."
The last time police know Maleah was seen alive was on April 30th, 2019. A neighbor's surveillance camera captured her and her stepfather, Darian Vance, outside their apartment. 4 days later, police say that same camera caught him leaving with a laundry basket and a trash bag. The next day, HPD was notified that Maleah Davis was missing. Vance reported he was attacked and the 4-year-old kidnapped. On May 11, 2019, police arrested Vance for tampering with evidence, namely a human corpse. He reportedly refused to cooperate with detectives. Then, more than 2 weeks later, 300 miles away in Arkansas, a crew picking up litter found a suspicious black garbage bag. They thought it was an animal, so a supervisor told them to leave it. May 31st, 2019, we're told Quanell X did what no one else could. He reportedly got Darian Vence to say where Maleah's body was. That afternoon, the remains were found in Arkansas and flown back to Houston. On June 3rd, 2019, the medical examiners made a positive identification. They confirmed Maleah Davis had officially been found.
Questions. Not right now. I just want to let everybody know about the flyer. Is that okay? My name is Brittney Bowens, and it's spelled Brittany. My last name is Bowens, Bowens. I'm Maleah's mother. This is the flyers that we're passing out right now down here in City Hall in Sugar Land. If anybody wants to come out and join and support us, I would greatly appreciate that. I just want to find Maleah. I just want to find Maleah. And I love her so much. I love her so much. If there's anybody that can help me, please. I just want to find my baby. I just want to find her. Help me find her, please. Help me find her. Anything helps. Share a post, share the flyer, anything. Anything helps, and it's greatly appreciated, and I mean that from my heart. I mean that with every bit of me. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this. I can't. I'm overwhelmed.
People think you are partly to blame for what happened.
25 minutes after their sit-down with Lynn Cannon, Quanell X says Brittney Bowens admitted talking with Darian Vence, the suspect in her 4-year-old daughter's disappearance, after his arrest. Details so sensitive he gave them only to police.
And it also said to me when we was riding in my car, what she believed really happened to Maleah. At that point, I knew what needed to be done. And so I arranged to quickly go and meet as soon as I could with the investigators at the highest levels of this case and share with them everything that we had learned and discovered.
Speaking for the first time since cutting ties with Bowens, Quanell told us Brittney's sister asked him to help Maleah's mom manage media and her emotions. 2 days on the job, Quanell saw red flags. He claims sources in Brittney's own family told him troubling details about Maleah's care, and in private, Quanell says he saw a different Brittney than the one seen on TV.
There was not a lot of tears. She was always calm, fluid, clear. Now, whenever there was a public thing, she would break down.
Still, the activist hung around, he claims, to get information he feared police could not. Bowens did not answer calls or return our messages. Law enforcement sources did confirm that Quanell told prosecutors about Brittney's words, her behavior, and his suspicions. Quanell does not believe Brittney knows where to find Maleah, but her former advocate is bothered by other details he says she shared with him.
She knows the truth, and she knows that eventually she's going to have to answer for that.
So basically what happened was, in a nutshell, I went to go see about my father. He was dying. I was trying every way possible to go see him because I didn't know what was going on, and he was passing aggressively. By the time I got there, I took a bus there. By the time I got there, he was becoming unresponsive. And so he only acknowledged me like once or twice. And then a day later, he became fully unresponsive. And a day after that, you know, we had to pull the plug on him. So I didn't even have a chance to tell him goodbye. And I was actually frustrated because we had all this CPS stuff going on, trying to do the right thing. And then my sister calls and says, hey, you need to get up here. You know, Dad's not doing well. And I haven't seen my dad in like over a decade. And so I ended up staying out there for like a week. But checking in, you know, with my ex, you know, my kids and stuff, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then I come back because I didn't want to be out there for like 2 whole weeks. I didn't realize that they were missing until the 4th. Now they were
So how long were you gone in between then?
Okay, so, oh God, when did I leave? I left the 31st of April. And then I came back the 3rd, which was that Friday. And they were supposed to pick me up that night, and they never showed. And I was like, well, hell, it's pouring down, raining. Maybe he can't find me. Our phones were off and stuff, and I was getting...
So he was supposed to come pick you up?
He was supposed to come pick me up, and he never did. So I was like stranded at the damn airport, going back and forth. My nerves was on 10. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and I was like, man, I just hope that they okay. It never happened. I don't know. It's just weird because I've never experienced nothing like this with him, you know? And so I was really worried, and it got to a point where I was just like, okay, F this, I'm gonna call my mom. Hopefully she's up. Thank God she was up. She came and got me. And then after she came and got me, I told her what was going on. And so, but as she was on her way, she was like, let me know if he gets there so I can just go back home. But he never showed. And then after that, we went back to the house. And
you went back with your mom?
Yeah, I went to my house. We didn't realize they were missing completely until the 4th.
So the day that your mom came and picked you up?
It had to, yeah, I guess you could say that because it was early in the morning.
So who called the police or anything like that?
We didn't call the police until like 7, 8 something that morning. It was me, his brother, and it was my mom. And we waited. Like, we were like, well, maybe he'll find his way home. Because, you know, he's not from here. So I didn't know if he knew how to get to the airport without Wi-Fi.
So he was supposed to come get you? He's supposed to fly to come get you?
No, he's supposed to drive to come get me.
What he's going to go to the airport for then?
I was at the airport.
Oh, he was going to drive to come get you from the airport?
Yes.
Okay,
and he never showed up.
Okay,
it was supposed to be him and the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what raised the speculation.
Yeah.
And you ended up calling them. The people you said we called. Who called?
Okay, so what I remember it was Saturday morning. It was like between 7, 10ish. I know around 7 something we went to his brother's house looking for him. We was like, man, when's the last time you heard from him? And they was like, well, we heard from him the day before. They if I remember correctly, it was like around 2, 3 something. What else happened? Gosh, it's so long ago. So then Joe ended up coming back with us to the apartment. And what else happened? After we got back to the apartment, I couldn't get in because I didn't have a key. And so we called maintenance. And then when me and my mom was trying to get a hold of maintenance, we told Joe to call the police. He called the police and did the report.
Yeah.
And then once we were finally able to get into the apartment, we all went into the apartment with the police, and there was no sign of nobody. Where's my kids at?
I get you.
You know?
I get you.
Like,
I get you.
You know, this we've never had nothing like this. I've never been through nothing like this. So at this point, I'm like,
but I thought he had a previous case with CPS though.
No, that's not true.
Okay, so that's just some people just stir it up.
That's a rumor.
All right. So
the only CPS case that we had, we got it back in 2018, and what happened with that was my kids went over to their daddy house for the weekend. 2 days later, Maleah started showing signs and symptoms of something going on internally, and it freaked me out. So I brought her to the hospital, and they did x-rays and stuff. They didn't see anything. They basically was like, oh, we think it's a stomach virus. I went to 2 different hospitals, and these 2 different hospitals told me the same damn thing. So I'm like, okay, well, hopefully she gets better over time. And then I want to say like a week later, because the first incident was, it happened around July the 4th. I think it was like July 6th to the 8th or something like that. That's when they were with their dad. And then the next incident was July 28th, when she actually had to fall at the table. So when she had that fall at the table, she was sitting at the table by herself while I was changing my baby. And so that's where she got the gash. Okay, and so that same night, we brought her to West Houston Hospital. And we sat there for the longest. We had to been there for like 3-4 hours before they even decided to finally sew her head up. And they didn't do no CT scan. They didn't even check to see if she even had bleeding of the brain or anything. They just sent us home and told me to put some cream on it. So days later, I think this was August 1st, I brought her to the pediatrician because she started showing other signs and symptoms of something I wasn't sure of, but the pediatrician wasn't there. So I went to Texas Children's Hospital, all the way, the one in Katy, and I told them what was going on. They got her back there quick. Within 15 minutes, they had her in a CT scan, and that's when they came back and told me, well, we found old and new blood. And at that point, I felt like she was gonna die, you know. And so, anyways, they rushed her to the hospital.
And what they found in the new blood?
I don't know. They just told me that they found old and new blood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, which makes sense because by that time it was like weeks had passed, and that old blood was from the first incident around the same time she was at her daddy's house.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, after that,
didn't her daddy supposedly like beat the dude up in court or something?
Yeah,
I would have did the same thing.
Hey, more power to you, because trust me.
Because if my daughter, man, something happened to my daughter, man,
beat his ass.
Me and my daughter are close, like we tight. So I don't even know how I would be able to look at somebody that did something like that to my daughter.
See, I wasn't even there when it happened. I was actually in California with Jeanette. And so I got the phone call. It's all good. Let's stay on track. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay.
So it's not true that you left her with somebody that had a case or whatever. You said that. All right, so y'all call because you're worried about your kids, and then the news reports that your kid has been missing because they picked up the story. So did you speak to the guy, your boyfriend, at any time?
The last time I had seen him, what happened was, let me just kind of go back to that weekend when everything popped off. After we gave the report, what happened? Initially, when Joe gave the report, he reported that, I don't know. Well, honestly, I don't know what happened because the first report said that Maleah was just missing. Okay. And then when me and my mom went back to the police station to give them photos of Maleah, Cortland, and Darion, that's when they told us, well, isn't it just one person? We was like, no, it's not one person. It's like my whole family. I already know where Peyton is. You know what I'm saying? So they updated the information or whatever, and we gave them the pictures to use for us to pass out flyers and stuff. And then,
and what about him? Did they ask y'all about him, or they just put a search warrant?
No, matter of fact, one of the police officers kind of made a joke and was like, "Oh, well, he's probably just mad, and he's just being silly or something." No, first of all, this is new behavior I've never seen before. This ain't no laughing matter, you know. So,
so where were the other kids at this time?
Peyton was with his daddy.
Okay.
That weekend because
and the other ones?
Cortland and Maleah was with Darion.
All right. So I'm talking about after Maleah was missing. Where were the other kids?
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to go according to the storyline. So during that whole day, we was looking for them. We couldn't find them. Whatever. Later on that night, which was Saturday, it was that Saturday. I got a phone call saying that only Cortland and Darion appeared at the hospital at Methodist. I think that's the hospital in Sugar Land. That's when I realized Maleah was gone. They told me that she had been kidnapped, and I remember I was completely exhausted.
So who took Cortland to the hospital?
Cortland was with Darion.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, well, I'm trying to be clear here. So, the other kids were fine.
No. Peyton, okay, see, when Darion was supposed to come pick me up, it was supposed to be him, Maleah, and Cortland.
All right, so I'm trying to figure out where Cortland is in this story.
Cortland was with Darion the whole time.
So Cortland was fine then?
Yeah, Cortland was fine.
Okay.
That's our son. And then Peyton and Maleah is for Craig. Cortland was fine. The only thing he had was the flu. That's it. And so they're the only ones that showed up, and Maleah was missing. Because to my knowledge, my whole family is gone besides Peyton.
I get what you're saying.
And then when they showed up at the hospital...
So your ex-boyfriend, he ain't have no ties to Maleah technically. Since it's not his daughter, he had his son.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
But, yeah.
All right, so the police, they do this search, and then they find out that Maleah's body is... They found parts in Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
So they found her body where you were going, right? Where were you going?
No, I was
to see your dad.
I was going to Massachusetts.
Okay, so you don't know any connection about why it was found. Okay, no. So afterwards, that happens. They find body parts, and then you go viral. Basically, your story goes viral. How did that? Walk us through that. Like, walk us through. I'm not trying to be cliche and say, oh, how horrible was it, how bad. Just be honest about how it affected your life to be viral for something negative, because it wasn't a good viral.
No, it wasn't at all.
Like, I was seeing all this stuff about Maleah, and I was like, I'm not gonna comment on this because I know you personally, and I was like, this shit's scary. You know what I'm saying? And then when they said they found body parts, I said, I can't repost about that. I didn't want to post nothing about it.
Yeah. So
how did that affect your life? How did it affect work, personal life, mental health, all of that? Like, what did that do? That negative viral story. What did that do to you?
Well, for one, I've already had anxiety and mental health issues prior to the situation. So when this happened to me, oh my gosh, it feels like you're suffocating and you can't breathe. It feels like you're in the ocean and you swimming towards the top, but you're not going anywhere. You're stagnant, and it's the worst feeling possible, because not only is your child missing or potentially dead, your whole life has been exposed to the world, and everybody is watching you. I'm a private person. I don't like people in my business. You know what I'm saying? I like my business to be my business, but then I got to a point where I started to feel like this became a showcase for everybody. Everybody wanted a piece of it. Everybody wanted to talk about it. Everybody wanted to say, oh, I seen her over here, or I seen her over there, or I talked to her, or whatever it is. Like, it was too much for me. And it was really messing with my mental. I was starting to space out. I was daydreaming a lot because I didn't want to deal with the reality that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I became numb emotionally, because going from dealing with almost losing Maleah in 2018, and I thought she was gonna die, to CPS taking my kids and I'm trying to figure out why, to me getting my kids back and then this happening, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it really affected me to the point where I was becoming suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to be here. I was becoming suicidal to a point where I was gonna take my life and your life, because that's just where my mental was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and anybody that was gonna try me, you was gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? That's just where I was mentally.
Yeah, it had broke you. So
I was completely broken.
Well, last thing I want to say, I want to ask is, do you feel like anything you did you could have done differently for Maleah, or even moving forward? Even, I don't want to say moving forward, even after you found out that this was what happened, do you feel like you could have did anything different to help your situation?
I feel like there is one thing that bothers me the most when I do think back, and when I was thinking on it at that present time. I wish I would have never left. You know, I wish I would have never left.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's the only thing I wish I could have changed. I wish I would have never left. And people don't even know that I wanted to bring my kid. I wanted my whole family to actually go up there, but we just couldn't afford it.
So let me go over some of it one more time. There is a video camera at the top of the stairwell that a neighbor owns. Police were able to recover the footage of that video. In that video, it shows the stepdad after mother had left the city. It shows the stepdad coming out while walking back into the apartment complex with a big bottle of Clorox that he had just bought. Then it shows him coming out with a bottle of Clorox, a big laundry bag, and a black garbage bag stuffed inside the laundry container that he was carrying out of the home. It was strange when he told the mother he was cleaning the house with Clorox, for there was no reason for him to be cleaning the house with Clorox. They already had a small thing of Clorox in the house, but he felt it was necessary to clean the house with Clorox. We know for a fact that police did take forensic evidence out of the apartment that indicates a crime took place inside that apartment.
Do you know the nature of that evidence?
I know that they tested for blood samples, human tissue samples. We also have a container inside the apartment that they left where they were testing for blood and luminol in the place. And it is true that they did find physical evidence. Also, let me be clear. We believe what started this was when the mother discovered him sending pictures of his private parts to another man. He was sending pictures of his penis to another man. The mother confronted him about it. He got angry. She wouldn't talk to him anymore when she left that day to go to Massachusetts. The mother told him that she was not going to return his ring, and that she was returning his ring. She didn't want to marry him. The mother informed him it was over, and he subsequently said some very disturbing things via text messages that the mother needs to share with law enforcement. And also, once again, the mother did confront him about physically whooping young Maleah when she was sick.
How was Maleah initially injured, where she's wearing that helmet? Was that at the...
I can't speak to that. I don't know.
Can Mom?
But we'll get to that. Mom needs to talk more with detectives, okay?
Well,
but
why?
let me finish, and I'll take your questions. But there is issues of him physically abusing Maleah that the mom should have revealed to detectives. That At the point in time, for whatever the reason may be, she did not. But we need Mom to do the right thing and tell everything she knows. And we need the truth about what happened to young Maleah to come out. And I do believe that she is the victim of foul play by the hands of the stepfather, with everything that was shared with me by the mother, and also the videotape upstairs that I'll show you after we're done.
What, if you guys had, or she had an argument, why leave Maleah with him and go to the airport?
Can't speak to that right now.
Have any idea where he may be?
We believe that he's receiving family help and he's on the run. We believe he's receiving family help and that he's on the run.
Ma'am, I know you're hurting and you're grieving
She's
right
not
now.
going to say anything.
But we're trying to understand why you wouldn't bring this forward to police, these critical details, when your daughter is missing. I mean, that is a big question.
It's a big question, and Mom's doing a lot of soul searching right now. A lot of soul searching, but I've been involved in many of these cases like this. And I thank God it was shared with me so that we can help law enforcement increase and intensify now their time for a manhunt. No longer personal interest. This man needs to be captured. He needs to be arrested.
Has he tried to contact Mom?
No, not at all.
When was the last time they had contact?
And he won't respond to any of her text messages. He won't respond to any. She's been trying to contact him for days with zero response.
When was their last contact with each other?
Last week, right when she came home. And shortly after she got back to the city is when he stopped communicating and contacting with the mother.
And Brittney, when's the last time you spoke to Maleah? When's the last time you talked to your little girl? I mean,
Listen, Mom is not perfect. She's made some mistakes. But Mom needs to share this vital information that I'll share with you with law enforcement. We believe it's time for a manhunt for the stepfather.